Picture a field of beehives at dawn. Rows of quiet wooden boxes. No hum, no movement. In the last 12 months, more than half of every honeybee colony in America simply died, and almost nobody noticed. Between 2024 and 2025, American beekeepers lost 55.6% of their honeybee colonies. That's not a bad season. That's the single worst year for honeybees ever recorded. Zoom into just 3 months, October through December 2024, and beekeepers lost 403,270 colonies. 14% of the entire national population gone in a single quarter. It was the highest quarterly loss ever measured, and the losses didn't stop there. This isn't just an ecological story, it's an economic one. The USDA estimates these losses at $600 million in lost revenue, and that's set against an insect responsible for $17 billion in American agricultural production every single year. Zoom out past America, and the number gets bigger still. Pollinators contribute somewhere between $235 and $577 billion to global food production every year. Crops that depend on animal pollination, fruits, vegetables, nuts, coffee, cocoa, make up roughly 35% of the world's food production by volume. Take the pollinators away, and it isn't a niche agricultural problem, it's a structural one. Here's what that looks like on the ground. Every February, more than 70% of every commercial honeybee colony in the entire United States, roughly 2.7 million colonies, gets loaded onto flatbed trucks and driven often over 1,000 miles to a single place, California's almond orchards. It's a $5 billion crop that exists almost entirely because beekeepers are willing to move nearly the whole country's bee population to pollinate it in a 6-week window. So what's actually killing them? Researchers point to a compounding mix of causes, not one single villain. First, a parasitic mite called Varroa destructor, which has grown resistant to amitraz, one of the main chemicals beekeepers relied on to control it for years. Second, pesticide exposure, especially a class of chemicals called neonicotinoids, which can impair a bee's navigation and immune response even at low doses. Third, vanishing habitat, as wildflower meadows are replaced by monoculture farmland and development. And fourth, a climate that keeps shifting the bloom seasons bees have synchronized with for millions of years. And it's important to say, honeybees are just one piece of this. They're essentially livestock, managed, trucked, actively kept alive by beekeepers. Wild bee populations with no one tending them at all have been declining for over a decade at rates between 30 and 50%, even faster than the managed colonies making headlines. But before we go further into the crisis, you need to understand exactly what's dying, because the honeybee isn't just an agricultural tool. It might be one of the most cognitively sophisticated insects on the planet. A honeybee's brain is roughly the size of a pinhead. Packed inside it, over 1 million neurons, wired tightly enough to let a creature this small observe, learn, and solve problems most insects never attempt. Researchers led by Professor Lars Chitka at Queen Mary University of London trained worker bees to recognize individual human faces in photographs, rewarding correct answers with sugar water. Within a dozen to 24 sessions, the bees became proficient at telling one stranger's face from another. They can count too, at least up to 4. In one experiment, bees were trained to fly past exactly 3 landmarks to reach a food reward. Even when researchers changed the spacing between landmarks, and even when they added extra ones, the bees still stopped and searched at the 3rd landmark, not the physical distance they'd originally learned. Push the test further, and their reliable limit tops out around 4, putting them in the same rough numerical range as some primates. Their eyes are just as remarkable as their memory. Bees have 3 color receptors tuned to blue, green, and ultraviolet light. They can't see red at all, but they can see ultraviolet patterns that are completely invisible to us, patterns that many flowers have evolved specifically to display. To a bee, an ordinary-looking flower can have a glowing bullseye at its center, an ultraviolet landing strip pointing straight at the nectar. And then there's the waggle dance, the figure-8 movement a forager bee performs on the vertical comb inside a completely dark hive to tell her sisters exactly where food is. The angle of the dance relative to straight up encodes the direction to fly relative to the sun. The length of the straight waggle run in the middle encodes the distance. And the intensity of the whole performance signals just how good the find actually is. Here's the twist. Scientists only recently confirmed that dance isn't purely instinctive, it's learned. Young bees raised without an experienced dancer to observe make persistent errors in angle and distance, and never fully recover accurate distance coding for the rest of their lives. Every bee even has her own individual style within the dance, small variations that, remarkably, can make the communication more effective, not less. And here's the detail that stops most entomologists cold. Honeybees are the only known animals besides humans that convey information about distance to a location through symbolic communication. So the insect you've been swatting away from your lemonade might be a better mathematician than you gave it credit for, which raises an uncomfortable question. How much else have we gotten wrong about bees? Start here. That stinging insect that ruined your picnic almost certainly wasn't a bee. Look closely and the two are easy to tell apart. Bees are round, fuzzy, and thick-legged. Their whole body is built to trap and carry pollen. Wasps are lean, smooth-skinned, and narrow-waisted, with a pinched connection between thorax and abdomen, called a petiole. A body built for speed and hunting, not pollen collection. That physical difference comes from an even bigger one: diet. Bees are herbivores, living entirely on pollen and nectar. Wasps are predators. They hunt and eat other insects and larvae. Every wasp buzzing around your barbecue is there for the meat, not the flowers. Myth: all bees make honey. Reality: out of roughly 3,600 bee species in the United States alone, only the honeybee and a few stingless relatives produce honey in any real quantity. Myth: all bees die if they sting you. Reality: that's only true for honeybee workers, whose barbed stinger gets stuck in skin and tears loose as they fly away. Most solitary bee species can sting again and again without any harm to themselves at all. Myth: all bees live in hives in big social colonies. Reality: only honeybees and bumblebees are truly social. The vast majority of bee species on Earth are solitary. No queen, no colony, no hive at all. And myth: bees are aggressive and looking for a reason to sting you. Reality: most honeybees are remarkably docile, going about their work with little interest in humans at all. They sting only as an absolute last resort, when the hive itself feels threatened. One more myth, and it might be the biggest one, that the honeybee is even the best pollinator. For many crops, it isn't. A single solitary mason bee can pollinate over 2,000 flowers a day, work that would take dozens of honeybees, because honeybees pack pollen tightly onto their legs to carry home, while mason bees carry it loosely on their belly hair, shedding it onto nearly every flower they touch. Per bee, some solitary species are up to 100 times more efficient. Humans have been managing this society for a very long time. A cave painting in Spain, roughly 7,500 years old, shows a figure climbing a rope ladder to raid a wild colony for honey. By around 2400 BCE, Egyptian temple carvings show something more deliberate: organized hives, and, remarkably, bees loaded onto boats and rafted along the Nile in what may be history's first migratory beekeeping, thousands of years before a truck ever hauled a hive to a California almond orchard. To really understand the honeybee, you have to see the whole society it belongs to, one of the strangest social structures anywhere in the animal world. A single colony can hold 20,000 bees. Some grow past 100,000. at the center of it all, one queen. She lays around 1,000 eggs a day. Some queens manage 1,500, more than her own body weight in eggs, daily. She can live 2 to 5 years, dramatically longer than any of her daughters. And she governs the hive's entire behavior not through commands, but through pheromones, chemical signals that suppress rival queens from developing and keep the whole colony chemically synchronized to her presence. Every worker bee you've ever seen is female, and her life is brutally short. Just 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes only days during peak summer foraging. And yet in that short window, she moves through a sequence of up to 90 different jobs, cleaning cells right after emerging, then nursing larvae, then building and capping wax comb, then guarding the entrance against intruders, and finally, in her last days, graduating to forager, flying miles from the hive to bring back nectar, pollen, and water. That foraging work is staggering in scale. Workers must visit more than 4,000 individual flowers just to produce a single tablespoon of honey. Multiply that by every jar in your kitchen. And then there are the drones, the males. They don't forage, they don't build, they don't even have stingers to defend the hive. Their entire biological purpose is to mate with a queen, usually from another colony entirely, met mid-air at a communal drone gathering point. The successful ones die in the act. The rest spend the summer being fed by workers, contributing nothing, until autumn arrives, at which point those same workers physically drag them out of the hive and refuse to let them back in, leaving them to starve or freeze so the colony's dwindling food stores go to the bees who'll actually see spring. A queen who reigns for years, workers who live for weeks and do 90 jobs, drones bred for a single purpose and then discarded. It's a society stranger than most fiction, and it's the exact society now losing more than half its members every year. Bees have pollinated flowering plants for over 100 million years, long before humans existed to benefit from it. For nearly all of that time, when a population collapsed, nothing intervened. That is finally starting to change. In labs around the world, researchers are building robotic pollinators. Some are tiny flying machines designed to brush against flowers the way a real forager would. Others are wheeled or arm-mounted systems using computer vision to identify individual blossoms and transfer pollen with precision. The goal isn't to replace bees entirely. It's to have a backup for the crops that can't afford to wait if a region's bee population collapses. Every major model is still years from commercial use, but the research is accelerating fast. Others are working further upstream, using CRISPR and other gene editing tools to study and potentially strengthen bee resilience against mites and disease at the genetic level. The same kind of technology now being tested against mosquito-borne disease. And in a genuine first, researchers have developed early honeybee vaccines, tools designed to boost colony immune response, passed from queen to offspring, aimed at making the whole hive more resilient before disease ever takes hold. None of this is a silver bullet on its own. Robots can't replace a forager's efficiency at scale. Gene editing raises its own open questions. The plan is to combine all of it, alongside simply planting more flowers and using fewer pesticides, not to rely on any single fix. But for the first time, humanity isn't just watching the worst year on record happen to the insect holding up a huge share of its food supply. We're finally building the tools to answer it. The honeybee recognizes faces, counts to 4, and speaks a language it has to learn. It sees a hidden ultraviolet world painted onto every flower it visits. It runs a society of 60,000 sisters, one queen, and a cast of doomed brothers, in a partnership with humans that stretches back at least 7,500 years. And right now, both the managed colonies we depend on and the wild bees we barely think about need more help than at any point in recorded history. Help that, for the first time, is actually arriving. If this changed how you see the insect on the flower outside your window, subscribe for more deep dives into the animal world hiding in plain sight.